Now, I mentioned earlier that if we wanted to use the graph, we could by determining if it was a reflection on the line y equals x. Now, y equals x is just the parent function of a linear equation that goes basically from one point of the graph to the other. Now, something's off on the picture here. I guess this is just stretched vertically. So there we go. Here's what you do is you would see if the inverse reflects on this line. Well, right now I don't have the inverse, so how could you draw it? Well, here's what you do. You find points, which this point right here is -2, 0, and so you'd switch the x's and y's. So this would become 0, -2. So this point would reflect over there and become, let me change the color so we don't get confused. We'll do this one in purple. This point would become 0, -2. And then I would find another one. So this point is 2, 0. And so this would reflect, and its inverse would become 0, 2. So we'd have this point. All right. And you would go through doing these points. Now, obviously, 0, 0 would reflect and stay as 0, 0. So it would still, this would work for both. This point is almost, I'm just going to, for the sake of time, just act like it is exactly. This is about -1, 2. So it would reflect and become, I keep saying reflect, I'm sorry. These two would swap and become 2, -1. So 2, -1, we'd have that point there. And then finally, this point down here, if we looked at that, this point is just about 1, -2. And so when we take the inverse of it, it would become -2, 1. So we'd have this point there, -2, 1. And we could go through and find any other points that we wanted to. But all in all, this graph needs to hit these points. And so when I look at this inverse, notice that it comes through here, hits, cuts through, and back through. And you can see how that picture works. All right, so on this, now let's check this line. If I copied this here, would it reflect over? And would these purple line, would the two lines be reflections of each other? And you see that they are. So it is, in fact, how you find an inverse by sketching. Now there's one for you to try. Determine which of these would be the proper inverse. Remember, you can either draw your line to help you out, or you can just click points and swap them and see which one matches.